Okay, so this is the Z.I. Hale Museum, and it is, you can go in here and look at, I haven't been in here, but anyway, you can go in and, you know, look at their museum. This is the Rock Hotel, and it's a Heritage Center. It was established in 1909, and I think they have events in there, things like that. This is the mill. Unfortunately, just recently closed down within the last month. Winters, Texas, they call themselves the Blizzards, which I think is very cute. So that's the football team name. And anyway, this is a big water tower that's probably about the most interesting thing in town. It's a dark blue and white, and it's most interesting. We have a cloudy day here in Winters, Texas. It's overcast. It's probably planning to rain soon. This is the high school football stadium. I'm recording it through my car window. It's probably not the best video, so but it's a cute little stadium. Winters is not a very big town. It's only about 3,000 people, but it actually has a swimming pool and a park. It looks like they're having some kind of event. I thought it said film festival, but I was a little bit too far away to read it. So this is their swimming pool. It's not open right now, of course, because it's not hot yet in Texas. It starts getting hot in May. This is just a little bit of the road leading out of Winters, one of the many roads. I'm not sure if I'm on a farm to market road or what, so here's a little bit of the park, a better view of it. It's got some pretty trees. This is Ted Meyer Park, Winters, Texas. I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to do a bit of a rolling video of the high school. See, there's the Blizzard Stadium. Winters has a cemetery right in the town, which I think is a little odd. Quite a lot of old graves and stuff, so yeah, it's a little odd to me to have one right in the center of town in such a small town. Maybe not so much in the big cities. They do definitely have cemeteries right in the middle of town, so here's a little bit of the city cemetery, probably. I think there's actually another one too. There is another one, but it's going out of town, so anyway, it's going out of town. It's a historical marker in Winters, Texas. It's Old Cotton Mill, first local industrial plant. Mill Hulls Oil gave the city a good payroll, a work whistle marking times of the day, and a good aroma. Built 1909 through 10 by Bird Hall and Mertz of San Angelo. The stone for the mill house was quarried at Posey Farm on Gap Creek, southeast of city, owned by Herman Gesicki and Associates of Ballinger, 1911 through 27, and by Anderson, Clayton and Company of Houston. Mill closed in 1939 after cotton farming declined. So there is a historical marker, and I guess this is the mill here. Someone owns it now. I'm going to try to do a little bit of it. Not too much, because there's a house here and people live here. So that must be the remains of the mill. Here's some Texas cows. They're under the two over there with the baby. They're under a mesquite tree. So that's a mesquite tree. I'm not really sure what that other tree is, but that is a Texas mesquite. Some beautiful black cows. That baby's cute. Yep, it just got up. Oh, how cute. Well, there's two of them, actually, so anyway. Wow, that one cow was chewing on the mesquite tree. I didn't know they did that. Here's an example of some of the houses. Some are nice and some are not so nice. Actually, the town needs a little perking up in that regard. they don't really enforce the what do you call it? They don't enforce the city codes. I'm trying to come up with a word here. But there are some nice houses here. Don't get a bad impression of any one house. So at the Crossing Travel Mart, this is probably the hottest place in town. I don't know why they have this bear here, because winters is not particularly cold, because Texas is not particularly cold. We have probably really just about 2, maybe 3 months of cold, and it's not even consistently cold during that whole time. So, all right, I'm going to show a little bit more of that in a second video here. I'm not at the front of it, so I just think this polar bear is kind of interesting. I think it's new. I don't remember this being here before. This is one winter's house that's really nice. It takes up the whole corner of the block, so it's for sale. So see if I can find a few more examples of some nice homes. It's an older home, but it's nice. It's interesting. I don't know what it is. It kind of looks like, I don't know, I guess maybe it's a house, but it appears to be empty, but it's pretty interesting. This is a very good example of a pecan tree. It's huge. Pecan, most people know what pecans are. They're a nut. And some people say pecans, but nobody in Texas says pecans. Anyway, this is a very large pecan tree at a house, so they're delicious. I love them. My mother has pecan trees also. I'd really like to have a house with pecan trees. I have in the past had houses with pecan trees. So here's a nice house, really nice house with excellent trees. I'm on a street that's kind of, it's like a dead end street. I'm gonna see if I can drive a little bit. There's not much traffic here, so I should be able to actually drive without, being in anybody's way. Here's a nice house. This street is really nice. I have to give it credit for being really, really nice street here. This street is very nice. Beautiful, beautiful trees. This is Floyd Street. Yes, this is probably where the more well-to-do people live. The opposite side of the street, ironically, is not really that nice, but anyway. It is a very big mixture of niceness here. As I said, some houses are just terrible. And some are, so-so. Some are really, really nice. There's just a mixture of houses. But this is pretty true for most Texas towns, because small towns, Texas, and they, like this is probably a manufactured home, and it is, they don't have great code enforcement, and they don't probably even have a lot of codes, so, but that can be good, because, not everybody can afford, a $500,000 house, so I don't really like the code system that well, so I'm gonna flash over here real quick to this little house. It's cute. It's not super nice, but it's cute, so anyway, I'm gonna go flash back to the other side. Can't really film out of my window because I haven't cleaned it yet. Anyway, here's an example of some more little basic houses. I'm gonna flash over here again to this rock house. I just love rock houses and adobe. Anyway, that's cute. So I'm gonna flash back over here to the other side. I'm trying to drive carefully, so other people do this. I should be able to do it. So this is a pretty house. It's in pretty good repair. It's got a nice concrete fence, which is always a nice thing. So, anyway, a lot of people here have campers. That's pretty on par for Texas. I don't know how it is around the rest of the country. I don't really pay that much attention to campers and things. Here's a house that I like. It's kind of got concrete or something. I don't think it's really adobe. Here's a nice older home that actually needs to be fixed up a bit, but it's large and it's nice. Here's some more pecan trees. Hopefully you can see them for the dirt on my window. It's really pretty actually. And there's some on this side. There's actually several here. See if we can get up here to this other one. Yeah, that's pretty. Those people may have a pool. Probably not very many people here with a pool because, you know, they don't tend to have giant incomes here, so most people don't unless they own something. So anyway, all right, well, I'm going to stop this for now. Go see if I can find something else. A cute little simple house. So this is small town America for you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This is a little park. It's not. I doubt anybody much goes there, but it's a little park. So let's see if I can drive along here. Yeah, it's got. I think it's got a basketball goal over there. Yeah, it does. I don't ever see anybody over here. Of course, I'm not here all the time. I don't live here, so. But I mean, what times I've been here, I haven't really seen anybody there. So this is just an empty lot with an empty, boarded up house that I'm fixing to get to. This is some of the ugly, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I don't really feel that way about it. I actually like old boarded up houses, so actually still has a truck there. Here's another one which may actually be lived in. Sadly, sometimes they look pretty rough and you can't tell if they're actually lived in or not. So here's another beautiful giant pecan tree. Oh, I gotta be careful now. Whoops. Well, these are really pretty flowers. I don't know if they're wild or not. They kind of appear to be. They're outside of the house, which I can't tell if it's, you know, unlived in or not. It seems to be kind of boarded up, but I don't want to assume that. So here it is. So there's the house. But wow, the flowers are great. I've never seen any purple, really purple Texas flowers, so I don't know if they're wild or not. Here's another little abandoned looking house. Somebody owns it, of course, because somebody owns the property, but it's pretty cute. I guess the people next door, I don't know who owns it, but there's a dog living next door, so. Anyway, I think this is cute. It's like a little lean-to shack. I guess that's probably the restroom built onto the side, so. It's cute. All right, I'm still in Winters, Texas, by the way. Kind of neat. This is by the hotel that I mentioned earlier and the museum. It's just, you know, what's left of a building, and they've decorated it up a bit. I'm going to move up a bit. It's got some machinery, farm machinery. I think it's cool. The grass is super pretty. That's another thing I like about it. It's interesting. This is a new restaurant, I guess. It says takeout. I assume it's food or something, but not much new comes here, so this is kind of interesting. Some presumably unused buildings. That used to be the American Legion post, or maybe it still is. It's hard to tell. Some of the stuff, it's really hard to tell if they're actually using it or not, so, because it looks pretty bare. I'm going to move down a little bit. See if I can move down. There's not much traffic here, so you're able to do this, but these buildings are cool to me. I just love old buildings, especially the ones that have, you can actually maybe live up there. It's got like a second story. This is actually like a gym. I don't know if it's a private gym or not. It's called the Strongest Man. It says private property, so I guess it's, I think someone told me it was for the high school kids or something, so it's not, you know, it's not a gym you can buy a membership into. So that used to be the Winters Chamber of Commerce, and I think that's a really neat building because of the pillars, you know, so. And this is, let's see if I can get over here without too much of my dirty window. That is the kind of the side. I just love old buildings, I really do. Old houses and old buildings. I don't know how many there are of these, but Winter still has some brick streets, which is neat. I would love to know what these old buildings used to be, stores or what they were. So anyway, here's a brick street. I don't know why they don't make brick streets. They last forever. It's sad that they don't make brick streets anymore because they're actually rather good streets. Winter's RV park. In reality, most people live here permanently. So anyway, it's not much. There's a nice house. This is a nice house here. Well, this is quite quirky. It looks like a hospital, but I'm not sure that it's not. Well, it looks like a hospital, but I'm not convinced that it's not residents, and it's actually on a residential street, which is even odder. But it definitely looks like a hospital, and I guess it is because it's got a sign that looks kind of professional. So I don't know. Interesting. It's pretty vintage, probably 40s or 50s. It's pretty neat. I like it. Here's a neat house. It's really old and it's well kept, so it's very pretty. This is a really neat house. They've really modernized it. That's actually a garage door there, and my son and I really like this house. This is a really upscaled house here. Winters has quite a few churches, but I really like this one the best. I think this is a Lutheran church. That's actually the parsonage right in front of it, and it's a pretty large house, and a church on the other side of it. But there are quite a few neat churches here, that's for sure. So I'm gonna walk over there a little bit closer. So hopefully a little bit closer. And these are some flowers at a house. Roses. These are roses. Oops, I'm holding the paper up in front of it. It's a receipt I'm holding. Anyway, these are roses. So Texas roses. I don't know what kind of roses they are. I'm on the side of a house. So let me see if I can walk over here. There's a biker person. Old guy biker. Well, it's not really any kind of criticism. It's just that he is an older guy. So, all right, see if I can walk over here neatly. I'm holding a receipt. I'm holding the camera. I just don't know how well I can walk over here. There's some kind of a, oh, it's a Swan's truck. That good cod fish. I haven't bought any in a long time, but it's super tasty fish. So this is St. John's Lutheran Church. And there's all kinds of churches in this town. I bet there's a dozen, even though the population's pretty small. I bet there's a dozen churches here. So out in the back of this, you can see some fields. There's a lot of fields. That's wheat growing out there. Here's this church. It's pretty. It's a very pretty church. It's got stained glass windows. Here's a little bit of the neighborhood around it. So most of the houses on this block are not very nice. This one right here on the corner is pretty nice. So here's another pecan tree. If you've never seen a pecan tree, we have a lot of them here too. So back to the church here. Alright, here's the front of it. Yeah, it's really pretty. Yep, pretty church. houses. Texas tends to have a lot of churches, things like that. So here's the parsonage. This parsonage is about the best one I've ever seen. I'm going to cut this off because the truck's coming and I'm trying not to record it. So if you've never seen any, these are Texas pecans. These are the soft shell variety. The other kind is native. They are small. They are better tasting. They're hard to get into. And anyway, those are native pecans. So here's the pecan tree that I'm getting these off of. I just got wound up. So anyway, these are tasty. We love pecans here in Texas. We make pecan pie. And we just eat them. We put them in cookies. They're great. They're very healthy. And as best I can remember, they're actually probably the healthiest nut. But that may have changed, and also I may be remembering incorrectly. So this tree is on a corner lot. So some of these pecans are probably old, even maybe these ones I'm holding. They basically start falling in November, and they're good for a few months in the shell, but it's best to actually pick them up and shell them and freeze them, or you don't even have to shell them. A lot of people just freeze them whole, and then they last almost indefinitely frozen. But they're only good about 9 months in the shell, and then they go rancid. Maybe not even that long, 6 months. So these pecans, if someone was picking them up, and someone might be, this is somebody else's property, I don't know whose, but maybe belong to the church actually. But yes, it probably does, because there is a parking area, and there doesn't seem to be much over there by the actual church. So this is probably part of the church, the Lutheran church that I showed you the video of. It's probably part of their property. So, I don't know if anybody picks them up or not. But anyway, they last about 6 months in the shell and should be frozen after that. So, they're great. We love them, and everybody here knows about pecans. As I said, some other people call them pecans, but nobody that's native to Texas calls them pecans unless they're trying to be controversial or cute. So here's some of the streets that are on this block. Most of these houses, I think I actually already did this, most of these houses are in need of repair. So alright, well, this is the absolute total end of my video. I'm sorry for the wind, but it is a very windy day, which we like wind here in Texas for the most part, because as long as it's windy, it's not hot. Once it gets hot, we don't have much wind. So, alright, well, I hope you enjoyed my video of the Winters, Texas, and some of the other towns. I may divide these up, so I may make Winters its own video, because I actually did quite a bit around here. Never really explored it very much. So a relative lives here, so that's why I have been here sufficiently, but I've not explored it all that much. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my videos.